The digestive process starts as soon as food is sensed. When food is sensed, salivary glands in your mouth begin to produce saliva. Saliva is made of water, mucus, and a hydrolytic enzyme called salivary amylase. The enzymes in the saliva work to break down starch and turn it into maltose. In the mouth, the chemical digestion consists of the saliva breaking down starch, and the mechanical digestion is how chewing breaks the food up. The combination of the chemical and mechanical digestion turns the food into a bolus. After leaving the mouth, the bolus goes down the esophagus. The combination of the esophagus being coated with mucus and peristalsis taking place, which is nerves notifying the esophageal muscles to contract and push the food downwards, the bolus then slides easily down the esophagus and into the stomach. In the stomach, the bolus is held for 2 to 6 hours. Here, mechanical digestion takes place, in which the stomach muscles churn and pound the bolus to break it up into smaller pieces. Additionally, chemical digestion happens, which, in the stomach, is the breakdown and digestion of proteins. The hormone gastrin notifies the gastric glands to produce gastric juice when protein is sensed. Gastric juice contains the enzyme pepsin, which is produced to break down tertiary and secondary protein structures. After leaving the stomach, the bolus is now turned into chyme. This is a frothy liquid that now moves into the small intestine. When the chyme reaches the duodenum, the small intestine secretes the hormone CCK. This initiates the liver to produce bile. This bile contains bile salts that chemically break fat into fat droplets. These fat droplets are made up of fatty acids and glycerol. The fat being broken down allows the enzyme lipase to work faster, since there is more surface area. After the bile is produced, it is then moved and stored in the gallbladder. Initially, when the chyme is sensed, if there is already bile stored in the gallbladder, then the hormone CCK will instead tell the gallbladder to secrete the bile into the duodenum. Additionally, when chyme is in the duodenum, the pancreas is notified by the hormone secretin, coming from the small intestine to produce pancreatic enzymes, and also to produce NaHCO3, which neutralizes acid chyme. The hormone CCK also notifies the pancreas to produce pancreatic juices that are then distributed into the small intestine in the duodenum. These juices contain amylase that turns starch to maltose, trypsin that turns proteins to peptides, lipase that digests and turns fat into 3 fatty acids and glycerol, nucleus that turns nucleic acid into nucleotides, and nucleotidase that turns nucleotides to sugar, phosphate, and nitrogen bases. The next place the chyme moves through is the small intestine. It is responsible for completing the chemical digestion of proteins, carbs, and lipids, and also absorbing nutrients. In the first part of the small intestine, the duodenum, bile is sent in, and this breaks down many food molecules. The enzyme peptidase digests peptides to amino acids, maltase digests maltose to glucose, and then some other digestive enzymes digest any remaining disaccharides. Additionally, some absorption of proteins, carbohydrates, and lipids take place in the duodenum. In the lower parts, the jejunum and ileum, the remaining broken down food molecules are chemically digested, and then due to the villi that line the intestinal walls, many nutrients are absorbed into the bloodstream. The blood then takes the nutrients to the body's organs and tissues. The final step in the digestive process takes place in the large intestine. It consists of the colon and the rectum. The rectum's function is to store feces, which is a combination of fiber, water, and dead cells. In the rectum, some of the H2O is reabsorbed, and some vitamins are absorbed. Additionally, as feces is formed and bacteria breaks down indigestible foods, vitamin K, amino acids, and other growth hormones are simultaneously produced and then absorbed by the colon. Finally, the last remains are passed out through the anus, and the digestive process is complete.